Hello everyone. In this video, we'll talk about the application protocols. If we talk about the layered architecture, okay, in this application layer, there are so many protocols that are used like HTTP or HTTPS, WebSockets, MQTT, message queuing, telemetry transport, AMQP, advanced message queuing protocol. Clear. What is the meaning of protocol? Basically, protocol decides the format of request or reply. That means when we are sending any request to the server, clear, what will be the format of the request? What are the content that will send into the request? It is decided by the protocol. Okay. Protocol also manage the connections and they provide the error handling also. Now, there are two protocols in this PPT you can see here in the transport layer that are given, TCP and UDP. TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol. Now, TCP is connection oriented, more reliable, clear, and UDP is connection less protocol. It is less reliable as compared to TCP. Now, if you talk about network layer, there is IP protocol that is present. There are two versions, IP4 or IP6. If we talk about data link, there is Ethernet, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Clear. Now, in this video, we'll talk about the application layer protocol and we'll cover only HTTP or HTTPS. Now, what is the full form of HTTP? HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Both HTTP request and response, if you look into the structure, that is approximately same. In the request, there is a start line, headers, there are some headers, and there is an empty line. Clear, this empty line is used, or you can say the blank line is used to just give the information that from this blank line, clear, all the headers has been written earlier to this blank line. And an optional body, clear, this optional body is used in case of when we are using the method post or put. Now, HTTP request format is like this. If you look into HTTP request, the request line contains the method. It can be get or post method or any other method, put, patch or delete method. Request target, that means usually a URL or path to the resource. Clear, like in the previous what request you have seen that was /index.html. HTTP version, which version of this protocol I am using. In the previous request it was given as HTTP 1.1. After that, there are some request headers. Basically, request headers are key value pairs providing metadata about the client or the desired resource format. What are those? The key is in example, suppose that the key is host and the data is what key and the value is what example.com, and user agent, clear, is the key, and the value is what Mozilla, clear, 5.0. Then there is an empty line. It is a mandatory blank line indicating the end of headers. And then there is a request body, optional data sent to the server, typically used in post or put request. For example, form data, that means when we are filling some data into a form, or a JSON data. Example of the request is like this. You can see here the method is get, and which resource I want to access, hello.htm, which protocol HTTP, which protocol I am using, HTTP 1.1. My host is what? This is the header, host, key is the host, and the value is www.example.com, and accept language, this is the key, is what? English US, and then there is a empty line. Because the method is get, then in this case there cannot be request body. That means I am not sending any data to the server in this case. HTTP response format. That means when we are getting the response from the server, clear, after just sending the request, this request format contains a status line, the first line containing what? HTTP version, the protocol version, like HTTP 1.1. Status code, basically it is a 3-digit number indicating the outcome. For example, it can be 200 for success or 404 for not found. Then region phrase, it is a brief human readable description of the status code. For example, in case of 200, it is okay. And then there is there are response headers, and these headers contains the metadata about the server and returned resource. For example, these are also key value pairs. In this case, the key is content type. And what is the content type? It is text or HTML. Server is Apache. And then there is a mandatory blank line which indicates the end of the headers. This is the HTTP response format. You can just look at here. And when you talk about the response body, the actual content requested, such as it can be HTML document, or it can be image, or it can be JSON data. If you look into the response format, first it is written HTTP 1.1, that is the protocol. 200, that represents success. Then request phrase, that is what? Okay in this case. Content type, that is text or HTML, it is a header. The key is content type and the value is text or HTML. That means we are getting the data from the server in the form of text or HTML. Then the content length, it is 128 byte. Basically this 128 is written in decimal. Okay, it means what? Total content length that is sent from the server is 128 byte. Then there is a empty line, and after that the response is written here. Clear, in this case the response is in the form of HTML. So you will get the requested content like this: HTML, then requested content, and then close this tag HTML. Clear, in this way you will receive the response. Now the HTTP protocol works like this: client send a request and server send the response to the client. This is basically half duplex communication. These are the methods: HTTP methods: get to retrieve data, post to create data, put to update data, delete to remove data, and pass to partial update. Now, these are the status code. We have to talk about the status code here. The reason is that I have covered about the HTTP methods in the earlier videos. If you get to the initial digit and after any digit, this XX represent any digit. Clear, that represents success. If you get 3, the first digit, then after that you are getting any digit, that means redirection. That means your request has been redirected. 4, then any numbers, this that means what? The client error. That means this error is generated by the client. Clear, if the client is requesting some page from the server and that page is not present in the server, you are getting the error as 404. 5, and then after that you are getting some number, any number here. For example, 500 or 511. These numbers represent server error, and 200 represent okay. That means 200 means success, and the phrase is what? In this case, okay. These are the common headers, like content type, it can be text or HTML. Authorization, clear, that in that case what we are using some credentials to authenticate the user agent. Accept, clear, it means which type of media the client is able to accept. Then cache control, that means what? We are mentioning something about the cache. That means how long your data will be in the cache. Clear, like these informations. User agent, that means the user agent can be an application, or it can be operating system, or it can be your browser also. Now, the HTTPS is basically a combination of HTTP plus the TLS, that means transport layer security, or SSL, that means secure sockets layer encryption. Now, HTTPS protect data in transit from eavesdropping. Now, TLS stand for Transport Layer Security, and uh, we provide this TLS provides more security as compared to SSL, because this SSL has been deprecated now, and it is used some places it is used with the TLS only. Okay, and if you talk about TLS, we are using advanced encryption techniques in this case, like AES encryption method is used in this case, TLS. But when we talk about secure sockets layer, here we are using DES. The benefits of HTTPS, here the data encryption is present. That means when we are sending any data from the client to the server, the data is sent in the encrypted form. That means in the network, the data is in encrypted form. Data integrity, it provides the data integrity. It provides authentication, and it is also beneficial for search engine optimization. Basically, the reason is that when you search anything like in Google search, clear the Google search provides the positive ranking, or it considers the positive ranking clear to for HTTPS. That means the pages that can be called by HTTPS protocol, the link for those pages come here in the top of the search, in respect to the pages clear which are associated with HTTP. Now, the risk without HTTPS, there can be man in the middle attack. That means any person, or you can say the intruder or attacker in the middle of the client and server can get the data. Data tampering, that means it can the attacker or any intruder can tamper your data that is in transit between the client and server. Information theft, it can also get your information that is flowing from client to the server, and loss of the user trust also. Thank you so much.